What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The U.S. is working to fix a backlog of military sales for Taiwan. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says the delay was caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and pressure on supply chains. He says senior officials in his department will meet periodically to ensure Taiwan is getting the military assistance it needs. Taiwan is waiting to receive about $19 billion in arms sales. Late last year, the U.S. Pentagon created a so-called Tiger Team to identify logjams and expedite delivery. The largest Czech delegation to visit Taiwan arrives on Saturday. It will include around 150 business people, lawmakers, and others. For more, TaiwanPlus reporter Louis Watt spoke to Marcin Jerzewski, an analyst at the Taipei office of the Czech think tank, the European Values Center for Security Policy.
A Czech delegation arrives in Taiwan on Saturday. How significant is this visit?
This delegation is a strong sign that Czechia seeks to position itself at the very forefront of European efforts to develop informal, albeit substantive relations with Taiwan. It's one of the largest delegations from Europe in general to come to Taiwan in its modern history. The delegation is led by Markéta Pekarová-Adamová, the Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies of the Parliament of the Czech Republic, but the meaning of the delegation goes beyond just exchanges between members of parliament. Among the delegation are representatives of the business sector, but notably also of several government agencies, including the National Cybersecurity Agency of the Czech Republic. This really goes to show that Czechia has a very pragmatic attitude to developing its ties with Taiwan and looks forward to connecting officials on the working level in both governments.
Why does the Czech Republic or Czechia want to develop relations with Taiwan?
I think that there are two dimensions behind the momentum in Taiwan-Czechia relations, which is manifesting itself in the upcoming delegation. The first is normative. One of the key political leaders of modern Czechia, often referred to as the father of Czech democracy, Václav Havel, was a leader very friendly towards the Taiwanese cause. And the current government and also the recently elected president Petr Pavel speak openly about their desire to continue implementing the legacy of Václav Havel in their foreign policy. But then there are also pragmatic considerations. Taiwan has already proven itself to be one of the biggest investors in Czechia, creating multiple jobs through its investments. A hope of the incoming delegation that this economic cooperation can not only continue, but actually grow.
Manufacturing activity in Taiwan rose for the fourth consecutive month in February. That's according to a monthly forecast released Friday by the Taiwan Institute for Economic Research, or TIER. TIER says business sentiment in the manufacturing sector jumped by more than 3 points in its composite index last month. The think tank services and construction indexes also increased. TIER says manufacturing was helped by more working days in February following the Lunar New Year break the month before. It also cited higher domestic demand for production and goods. Despite the increased economic activity, TIER says Taiwan's February exports dropped more than 17% compared to the same period last year. Ramadan is a time for followers of Islam to express their spirituality. Those observing the occasion must fast during the daytime for the entirety of the month. Bing Wang went to the Taipei Grand Mosque to see how Muslims in Taiwan observe the holy month.
It's Friday, the most important day of prayer for Muslims. But this week, it's even more special, as it's also the first Friday since the start of Ramadan. This is the Taipei Grand Mosque, the largest and the oldest mosque in Taiwan. Over 1,000 people have come here for their weekly Friday prayers. That's 5 times more than regular, as Ramadan means more devotion to their faith and spirituality. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. It's considered the most sacred, as Muslims believe this is when the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. During the holy month, 2 billion Muslims around the world fast in the daytime and devote more time to their faith.
不吃不喝，那不吃不喝并不是叫你减肥， 而是给你一些斋戒的意义。在这个斋戒期间里面，你有一些事情可以做，有一些事情不可以做。只有这个斋戒是做给自己看的，因为你偷吃偷喝，没有人看得见。那穆斯林的公休是对自己、对阿拉的一个负责。
The previous evening, over 300 Muslims gathered here to celebrate the first iftar, the meal that breaks the day of fasting during Ramadan. It brings communities together to celebrate the blessings of the holy month. There are more than 300,000 Muslims in Taiwan, making up 1.3% of the country's population. Many are migrants from Southeast Asia, some are converts, and others came to Taiwan over decades from majority Islamic areas in China. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation ranks Taiwan second to Singapore among the top non-Islamic destinations for Muslims in the world.
是一个开放而且宽容的社会，大家都互相尊重，因此在这方面的话，我们感觉到 Muslim 在台湾会是觉得他在一个友善的社会里面，因为在台湾的环境里面，各种宗教都在做他们自己自由的去实行他们的教规，做他们的行为。
At the end of Ramadan, Muslims will be celebrating Eid, the most important day of the Islamic year, and the Taipei city government is planning events around the occasion. At a time when religious freedoms are under threat across the world and many Muslims are facing Islamophobia, Muslims here feel they can openly celebrate their culture and their faith. Damon Lin and Bing Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Friday was the opening ceremony for Taiwan's National Indigenous Games. The annual event brings together indigenous communities from around Taiwan and features other Austronesian competitors as well. Harrell Hughes has this report.
The sounds of Taiwan's indigenous people. There are 16 officially recognized indigenous communities in Taiwan, and the athletes from each of these groups are currently gearing up for this year's National Indigenous Games. Kicking off on Friday, Austronesian athletes from various countries will also be competing. In total, more than 8,300 people will take part in 17 events. And for the first time ever, the Maori, the indigenous people of New Zealand, will be there.
Being in Taiwan for the first time is it's a bit of an amazing experience. Different culture, a bit of a culture shock because not many people can speak English, so it's hard to do that communication bit there. But you know, still when you're amongst indigenous people, you just kind of just vibe together, and it's pretty good, pretty choice.
37 Maori athletes arrived last week to learn traditional Taiwanese techniques, and they took the time to perform the famous kapa haka at the opening ceremony. The event aims to deepen exchanges between Austronesian peoples of Taiwan and the wider Pacific region. The games are split into two categories, athletics and tradition. Athletics will feature track and field, basketball, judo, baseball, and other non-Olympic sports. Traditional events, on the other hand, include hunting, weight-bearing, tug-of-war, wrestling, dragon boat racing, and archery. For the competitors, representing their communities is a true honor.
我们参加射箭呢，不为的就是让自己的心灵更上一层，那射箭达到一个最高的境界。那全员运动会，这就是我们的最高境界。所以我们能够今天站到这一起，成为一个台北市的代表队，就是一个光荣。
The event will also feature the totems and languages of various groups for visitors to learn about the indigenous cultures of Taiwan. After today's opening ceremony, there will be a 3-day event featuring indigenous crafts, foods, and cultural events. The games will run until March 27th and are sure to showcase all that Taiwan's indigenous athletes have to offer. Eason Penn and Harrell Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images of Art Basel, Hong Kong. I'm Ethan Liu, and I will see you next time.